sometimes smaller projects give you much better experience than the
Yeah,
bigger ones.
that's awesome. So I want to hover on this for a moment, because one of the things that comes up again and again and again in these conversations on the podcast is, you call it a high performing team dynamic. That might be the HR
Absolutely.
buzzword for it. But there's something about that experience when you do get settled into an amazing team with a great project that has a clear vision and impact, that you can actually make the progress and go deliver. Like, something about that dynamic that everybody talks about. Like, those are the days. I actually am curious, Casey, for your perspective. Why is it, do you think, that so many people have never actually had that experience? Why is it so hard to create those kinds of, dynamics in organizations? It's like everybody's striving for it. All the leaders know how important high performing teams are, and yet a lot of engineers I coach really have no experience like what you just described to lean back to. What do you think blocks us from having more of that?
For me, the thing that pops up in my head, and I'm seeing it right now, as I said, as I come back into this area, is the teams are very large now, and they're very matrixed and spread out across the world. We were 7 people that literally sat in a small corner of this tech center. No one knew what we were there. We were that's the other thing. I think being out of the spotlight helped us. We cared about each other, even though no one may have cared about what we were doing. Again, it was like the last project on the list, let's call it. And so there were other people that were getting the spotlight and the limelight and everything else. We didn't care. We just wanted to get our stuff done, do it really well, and have a product that we knew the consumer was going to love. All of us loved it as we were designing it. And so we were like, this is the best thing. Consumers are going to love it, and it's going to be great. And so we were passionate about it. And so if you have a team of people, they're tight knit and they're focused and they're passionate, it's a great experience. But to your point, you don't get that on every project, because a lot of times you have your small segment that you worked on. And that's maybe another thing with this team. We all played whatever place we needed to, whatever role we needed to play. That's what we did. One week, somebody might be on vacation. Another person just had to fill in and do the work.
Yeah, take it over.
We might not have had a person that was, hey, you're the chassis person. We didn't have that. It was, hey guys, we need to do this work. Who's got time this week versus, a month from now?
We're it. This is it. Let's
exactly.
go.
When you only have 7, you can't point very far, let's say.
That is super interesting, and certainly no easy answer, or companies would have solved it by now. But It reminds me, at least in terms of the values you described, I think it's Ronald Reagan gets credit for the quote. It's amazing how much we can accomplish if we don't care who gets the credit.
Yep.
And at least for me, that's something that I find really difficult to instill into that organization, because everybody wants the spotlight in some way, even the engineering team. If we want to build our careers and get credit for the great work we're doing, we want to be seen. And that's tough, to get people to just fall in love with the project and be passionate about the customer